Hi, Book Monster Mitch to do a kind of review my thoughts on Superman 2025. Now, I'll probably release this on Thursday, July 24th of 2025. It's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and I went and watched the movie Saturday, July 19th, 2025. Sorry, I know I threw a lot of dates at you just now. I'm just trying to get my thought process together, and that's pretty much it. Um, but all that aside, on to my review thoughts on the movie, however you want to phrase it. To be honest, I'm enthusiastic about the movie. I I like so many others was very apprehensive and, for lack of a better word or phrase, scared. Um, Not that Superman is by any means a scary property. It's not. It's just Marvel MCU has been having a roller coaster ride, and DC has hit more brick walls than not. Um, Marvel has a better go of their cinematic franchise and series than DC history. I'm sorry, uh, but not sorry, to be honest. That's just the way it is. To be upfront, blunt, honest, all of that. Um, and to have a an unknown actor in the boots of Superman is a good thing, but a not so good thing at the same time. It's a good thing because there's really no pressure on the actor. Um, but at the same time, no matter what man becomes Superman from 1978 onward, I'm sorry, he will always be compared to Christopher Reeves. And yeah, older generations could have compared um, Christopher Reeves to, I believe it was George Reeves, that played the black and white TV series of Superman. That happens with every generation. Look at our generation, my generation. Probably my dad's generation watched the first Michael Keaton Batman in 1989, comparing him to Adam West. Now, really, that's an unfair comparison because Adam West and Burt Ward's Batman was more campy and kind of played for laughs more than Tim Burton and Michael Keaton Batman portrayal. Look, I'm getting to Superman. It's just I had to get some thoughts out there, comparisons and contrast and all of that. So anyway, with all that aside, I can finally get to my thoughts on Superman 2025, David Cornsweat as Superman Clark Kent. Um, as always, I'm going to start with the likes. You know, what I liked about the movie, then work my way into some not so good aspects, and then not so good or dislikes, however you want to phrase that. It's just my personal opinion. If you like some of my dislikes or didn't like something I liked, not a problem at all. Um, we are allowed to have opinions of our own, no matter what anybody says. So anyway, um, David Cornsweat, you know, had big shoes to fill, big boots to fill, big red boots to fill. Because he will and probably has been compared to Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was probably compared to Reeves and so on and so forth. I went through that already. Um, so, but all in all, Cornsweat made it his Superman. It was his from the get go. He didn't seem to try to emulate anybody, whether it be Reeves, Cavill, whoever. He was his own Superman, if that makes sense. So, and the romantic tension and the romantic, you know, aspect between Superman Clark Kent and Lois Lane was very believable, is very believable. Um, so that's a plus. If you're going into it for that, um, that is an aspect of, you know, any and all Superman. I like the fact that they didn't necessarily, you know, drag it out and say, you know, Jor-El and everybody sent Kal-El to Earth because Krypton was about to blow up. Um, you know, we know that already. there was a maybe 2 or 3 paragraph um, text that you read to give a little backstory, about 3 centuries ago, um, metahumans came into being and all that. 3 decades ago, a an alien crash landed on Earth 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he made his presence known to the people of Earth. 3 minutes ago, he lost his first battle ever. And the movie starts from there. Well, it had already started, but you know what I mean. The action, the actual portrayal of Superman and crypto. Yes, they have crypto finally in a Superman movie. You know, I can't say if I would have liked to see crypto in some aspect beyond maybe an animated appearance here or there, because I'm not and never have been, more than likely never will be, a comic or graphic novel reader. Yes, I have The Death of Superman to my right, somewhere on that bookshelf to my right, but that's more of a collector's item, than something I feel I have to read. I'm not saying I won't ever read it, it's just something I'll probably hold on to for the rest of my time. Um, because I don't know, the value could have gone up, you know, already. It probably has gone up in value, because I believe it was published late 80s, 90s, something like that. Late 80s, early to mid 90s. I don't know, and I don't care about the publishing and, you know, all this and that and everything else. Um, Not that I don't care, it's just doesn't phase me as much as some other people, and nothing wrong with that. So back to the movie. Um, like I said, after the little text finally fades away from the screen, Superman falls down to a snowy plain that's supposed to be Antarctica, I believe, where his Fortress of Solitude is located. Then he whistles for Crypto. Crypto comes running on the scene, uh, you know, in true canine fashion. Crypto bounces and tries to play with Superman, but he's badly injured from his battle that he just lost. I'm trying to keep this spoiler light, but there's inevitably going to be, plot points I have to get my thoughts and point across. Um, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, watching this, I'm sorry. All I can say is go to your local movie theater and watch it and watch this video later. Um, but if none of that bothers you, then hey, feel free to do it however you want. Hear what I have to say about it, then go see it. Go see it first, and then hear what I have to say. No big deal. So anyway, after crypto finally starts bouncing and playing around, Superman tells crypto, take me home and, holds his cape out for crypto to grab in his teeth and um, drag him to the Fortress of Solitude. And they go in, and robots or androids, if you rather, pretty much take over, and they heal him with the sun and uh, play play a hologram of Jor-El and his wife. I forget the Kal-El's mother's name. It might be Laurel or L'Oreal. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Uh, Somebody correct me in the comments. No problem. I just know it's Jor-El and Kal-El for sure. And Kal-El becomes known as Clark Kent here on Earth. Um, that's my extent knowledge of Superman, legend, mythos, whatever. As far as the names go. Um, Now, Lois, Jimmy Olsen, yeah, I know all those. Also, anyway, so, like I said, they play the hologram of his Kryptonian parents. Um, and they say the message is damaged, has been damaged since Superman Kal-El arrived on Earth. The first portion of the message is intact, but the end of it is not. By the way, this is not in English. The message is not in English, but is in not gibberish, might be gibberish to our ears, but it's supposed to be in the Kryptonian language, I guess. Um, so after that, there's a scene of what Kent hustling and bustling his way through the metropolis, sidewalks and streets, getting to the Daily Planet. You know, and him, Lois, and Jimmy Olsen, going back and forth about interviews with Superman and this, that, and the other, and then after that, jump forward to in Lois's apartment to, Quark. Superman is waiting there, cooking a breakfast for dinner, and he says, "It's your favorite." She says, "Actually, it's your favorite." So, anyway, um, then they, give a little interview between Lois and Quark, Superman, and have a little back and forth about that. I'm trying to keep my thoughts in order, so if I'll pause and this video is longer, I'm sorry. Just bear with me. Um, then after that, I think they jump to Lex Luthor. Um, they skip over Zod and his group entirely in this movie and do like the Christopher Reeves movies and go straight for the gusto for Lex Luthor. And it's not Luthor Corp that he's in charge of, like typical. It's not LexCorp or LexCorp. I think it's called Luther Corp or something, or Luther Co. It's not his first name Lex. It's the last name Luther Co. Luther Corp. Something of that nature. Honestly, they're a little strange with Luther in Lex Luthor in this movie because he's in this, in between these two towers in a glass kind of um I hate to say arena, but I'm gonna leave it at glass arena. Um, Basically giving orders to men and women at like computer hubs or screens, pretty much how you would give, you know, uh, battleship orders in the game Battleship, B3, A2, um, C11, things of that nature. A letter of the alphabet followed by some number. Um, and what's actually going on is this battle outside. And all the while, this blonde haired woman is taking selfies. You find out more about that later. I'm not going to touch on it here. It doesn't add or detract from the movie. That's the main reason I'm not going to touch on it. And this video is already over 25 minutes. So yeah, um, you know, and now I'm going to just stop with the plot details and, you know, just say if you want Superman to be Superman, I think this movie delivers. James Gunn, writer director of this, and pretty much runner of DC franchise movies for now, has delivered, in my opinion. And I was hopeful that he would, because he's done all three Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel, and he's delivered on those. Bradley Cooper makes an appearance in this movie. I'm not gonna say where or what part he plays. It's small but significant. So I didn't even know that was Bradley Cooper until somebody, you know, just the other day said, uh, reading the cast list, that he was in it. And oh, yeah, now I know what part he played. And I believe Michael Rourke or Roark, however he pronounces his last name. Like I said, forgive me. Has a part in it, and then he also played a part in the Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. Um, so, okay, what I didn't care for is they basically had the Justice League in this movie without referring to them as the Justice League, or, just having Superman as the headliner. I agree with other people saying, you know, you don't need a solo movie or show for Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, Hawk Lady, um, and others. You can team them up in movies and let it go. I agree with that. However, however, it made the movie too convoluted, and no offense to, anybody's portrayal or acting in the movie, just, I'm sorry. Um, Green Lantern was an ass in this movie. Um, he was, he wanted everything his way without being a whiny baby about it, but he still was. just watch the movie and see if you agree or not. But yeah, the movie was not bad on runtime, about 2 hours and 10 minutes. But it just had too much going, too many plot points, too many characters for a 2 hour and 10 minute movie. And do I think it needed to be longer with everything it had going on? That's a hard question to answer. Part of me wants to say yes, but a bigger part says no, it's fine just the way it is, because if it were any longer, it would be just overstaying its welcome. And I like it as is. Like I said, I have my gripes. I, like everybody, have gripes about everything. Nothing's perfect. There will never be a perfect thing, perfect human, whatever. Um, but all that being said, have you seen Superman in the theaters yet? If you stuck with me for over 30 minutes now, I hope there's, some part of you that's at least interested now if you haven't. Sorry for being long-winded. That's why I don't care to do too many review thoughts on things, because it just gets overloaded sometimes with what I think, and trying to keep my thoughts together. But anyway, this is Book Monster Mitch. Have a good day, good evening. Take care of each other, love each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.